Welcome to our entrepreneurial channel. This is Napoleon Rydberg and this is Burak Ergin.
Hello everyone.
So, what would you like to talk about today, Burak?
I think we can start with creating a habit today because of course we are really fired up in some situation when we have some experiences, when we see some good examples, when we watch these kind of YouTube videos. There are so many in YouTube actually. So, but I think the most important thing is having a good habits.
Yeah.
So if we can manage to find a good way to start a good habit, to start a good routine, and if we can manage to follow them, then I think everything is just kind of automatized.
Yeah. I think habits are kind of. I try to think of that. I can either choose to open a door for a stranger, or I can just choose to walk through the door and don't keep it up for a stranger. And that is a habit which is kind of autonomous. I don't think of it.
Yeah.
But if I start to become aware of what I am doing actually, and I really want to, it doesn't have to be to open up a door for a stranger, but whatever. Then when I start to be aware of that I'm doing choices every day which are taking me on a journey in some kind of direction, all these habits and these are kind of choices which you do.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to be aware of them, then I think you're on a good way.
Actually, it's not only about starting a new business or having a side job. Actually, just imagine that you train every 2 days in a week, or 4 times or 3 times in a week. Then after some time, your body start getting in a shape.
Yeah.
Then you feel more energetic, more stronger.
Yeah.
So this is also like this. When you have good habits, which affects your life positively, then this also affects your performance in your business.
Yeah.
Either as a business owner or an employee.
Yeah.
So I think first we need to discuss how to create a habit, how to be more consistent. Because in the end, if you are not consistent, all your hard work, all your efforts, you can put an effort for 1 month, you can put an effort for months, 3 months, 6 months. But in the end, if you give up for any reason, then every effort you made just go in vain.
Yeah. I mean, for some time ago, I really said to myself, I should really start to train before. I train quite a lot in the evenings, but you're kind of up in the speed in the evening. So after you have been exercising, it's impossible to go to bed, at least for me. So then I said, let's do it in the mornings instead. And in the beginning, this was basically before I started to work. So I said, let's go up at 6. And it really felt challenging to go to at 6 o'clock in the morning down to the gym. But I really managed, and I kind of let's try to do it 5:30, and then 5, and then I actually ended up going to gym at 4:30 in the mornings. And that was challenging, but it after some time this habit became a routine. But that means that you have to have discipline to go to bed very early. You must go at 10 o'clock, basically. At least me. But when you don't keep to that discipline and go to bed at 10 o'clock, you start kind of to push that forward. Then you're losing your routine, because then you're going to bed 11, 11:30, and then 2 almost 2 o'clock finally, and then to go up 0:40, 04:30. It's impossible. So that's also routine. You have to have discipline to really keep with that.
Actually, as I think your desires, the things you want, needs to also match with the emotions. For instance, when you start training at 4:30, after doing this some time, then you also start feeling more energized.
I agree.
More active. More creative.
Yeah.
You can be more successful at home, at work, at anywhere. Because in the end, you have a more stronger body.
Yeah, I feel really much more energetic, as you said, because when you fire up your mind actually at 0430, then you are up at speed at 06. I mean, then you are really performing much better than you're waking up at 6 o'clock and trying to go and take a shower and go to work. I mean, I am already ready to work at 6 o'clock. Really ready. And then also, there are a lot of studies showing that kids who are doing, how you say, the English word,
maybe we should say that we are not native English speakers.
Yeah, we're trying to sound as, but we are not. When you have training, basically, where you have some kind of exercise in the school, so when they come back and do lessons after that, they are performing much better. Especially in mathematics, it has shown that when they do some kind of physical activity in the morning, then they perform much better in the rest of the day in school than if they have some kind of physical kind of in the end of the day, because then they are so the brain really is also activated by physical activity, so to say. So it's yeah.
Now let me ask you to actually the real question of the video.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, just imagine that you would like to create a side job.
Yeah.
You would like to generate some side income. So how can your habits affect in a good way to generate some money as a side job?
Yeah. For me, it's kind of I skip television to start with. That was one habit, because I can talk with people today and say I spend maybe 15 minutes in average maximum every day on television, and I mean so it's like in maximum 2 hours a week maximum, a week. And people just look at me and if I would have said per day, it's quite good. But no.
But don't you ever watch some series, some movies?
No, a movie, but that's basically very rare. It's not even once a week I look at the movie. I can sometimes look at some kind of documentary, but in average that would end up in 2 hours every week in total television time.
So actually the main thing, the first step that you take is actually creating extra time, creating more time to yourself.
Yes.
So you start with just limiting the time that you spend watching TV.
Yeah, I mean this is really important to really think about how you spend your time. What are you doing with your time? You think you are efficient, but if you start to think, I mean this sounds really bad, but I actually don't pick up the phone sometimes when people call, because I don't have time. I know I have friends, I love my friends, but I don't have time to sit and have discussions, not even discussions, just chatting for 30-60 minutes. I don't have that time. I want to use that time for something good. So the first thing that I did was to optimize my way of how I use my time. Instead of hanging, looking at my mobile phone, hanging with calling my friends, hanging with looking at television, I removed that. And then I started to work. My first business was basically a web shop business, which I started. So I worked first to like 1700 in the afternoon. When I came home, I just sat and worked with this company, this web shop, taking orders, putting up new products to basically 1-2 o'clock in the evenings, in the night, and then go up to the new work again at 6 o'clock. So I was sleeping like 4 hours. It was not good, but that was at least how I managed to build up that business. But time, because everybody can. You can have money, but time, everybody has 24 hours. So I think that is the first step.
But instead of putting intense effort, can't we just optimize this? What I mean is, you just mentioned that our mobile phones are, a kind of distraction creator.
It's a humongous distraction and clutter, and
so you just mentioned that someone is calling you, someone texting you, but you don't even talk about this social media. So most of the people now
I don't have Facebook. I don't have time for Facebook.
Yeah, have Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, Snapchat accounts, so many. At least one of them you just got some notification, you check them, then you lost actually your focus.
Yes.
So maybe, since we first just try to create some time to do something more valuable, or instead of saying what valuable, maybe we should say that more about your goals.
Yeah.
Then we also need to eliminate these distractors from our office or where we study or work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I heard people who basically have no friends at all because they.
But this is not something. This is not something we suggest. Yeah.
we shouldn't promote that, but I think it's important to. You shouldn't be selfish, but fully, but a little bit actually. I think that you need to think of what is bringing. I heard one businessman said, if I'm in contact with a person and this does not bring any value to me and especially to my business, I just cut off. It's totally uninteresting for me to continue the discussion. And that guy don't have so many friends.
Yeah, maybe one, maybe zero.
Yeah, but still, I think the mindset is very important. You need to utilize your time, and the routine is a key to utilizing your time in a good way, to become disciplined and have. I actually talk with my kids. You should put up a schedule in the evening before you go to bed and think of what shall you perform the next day, because if you have written down this, you have a mental bias that you are prepared for doing certain things the next day. And then even though you don't follow every point, you will accomplish more than if you haven't written down anything.
So then actually to have a side job for this kind of purpose, our first suggestion can be try to create some space and time for yourself, eliminate your distractions, and put something valuable, put something helps you to achieve your goals in those times.
Yes.
If it is 1 hour, it's okay. If it is half an hour, it's okay. It depends on how bad you want it actually.
Yes, and I also think that the important thing is not to put away 4 hours every day. The important thing is that you do put away some time for this, and you start maybe with just 15 minutes in the beginning, maybe 30 minutes, but you do at least put away. After 1 month, you put away 1 hour. After 3 months, you put away 4 hours, and maybe 6 hours in the end, or whatever that you put. But that you do put away. Start with small steps. You cannot make a big leap from the beginning. You have to accept it's like exercising. You will not look as Arnold Schwarzenegger or The Rock immediately. It will take time.
But just imagine that. Just imagine every week you have extra 10 hours, which you utilize for something you want.
Yeah.
In 1 year, it is more than 500.
Yeah.
So which can help you to change so many things.
Yes.
If you would like to feed yourself with extra information by reading, you can finish so many books at these 500 hours.
Yes.
If you would like to develop a new skill, so you can do it in these 500 hours in 1 year.
I agree.
So I think this can be our first suggestion to start something new. You have this kind of decision first. You need to create some space for yourself. You need to create some time to yourself.
I agree.
Then you need to fill this time with something
valuable, what makes you coming closer to whatever you want to do. It can be to exercise more. It can be to start some kind of business. I think the time is the really important thing. Somebody said you can't buy time. You cannot buy your own time, but you can buy time from others who will help you come closer to the goal. So you can kind of have somebody working with tasks which you normally do, but you pay them.
This is delegating actually.
That is delegating.
But maybe this can be another topic for another video.
I agree.
So actually in the next video, we can just cut this from here. But in the next video, I really would like to hear about how you start your e-commerce shop or web shop. Then what kind of struggles you face, because I think it is really so important to give some examples.
Yeah, and I really love web shops. I think that is a fantastic tool to promote products, and I can talk a lot about that area.
Okay, that's great. So, thanks for watching. So we can meet in the next video.
Yeah, thanks.